problem that a lot of people seem to have when they first start off with music is understanding why you end up with key signatures the way you do, and methods of remembering them. Now, people in the know will talk about the cycle of fifths and all this kind of thing, but I think it's easier if we start off from the most basic scale, which is the scale of C major. And the reason why C is useful to start with is because it has no accidentals. So it's a natural mode. So if I start on C and I play one octave of the scale of C, every other major scale is a transposition of that. That means that whatever note you start on, it should sound exactly the same. And that's to do with the formation of tones and semitones. So, just looking, what is a semitone? A semitone is the smallest interval. So E to F is a semitone. C to C sharp is the semitone. C sharp to D is a semitone. So if I play the scale of C again, a whole tone is made up of two tones. So if we look at what we have in between each of the notes, we'll see that between C and D is C sharp. So that's a whole tone. Between D and E, there's a D sharp or an E flat. That's a whole tone. Then we get from E to F, and that's a semitone. That occurs naturally. There's no black note on the piano in between. F to G is a tone, G to A is a tone, A to B is a tone, and B to C is a semitone. So, our structure for a major scale is always tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So semitones occur between the third and fourth note and the seventh and eighth note. Right, let's start on the note G. C, D, E, F, G. Right, now if I play all white notes starting on G, it will sound like this. Now, if your ear is any good, you'll notice that something doesn't sound quite right, and that it occurs somewhere near the top. Right, so we learnt that a semitone should occur between the third and fourth note and the seventh and eighth. So G, A, B to C is the third to fourth, so that's okay. D, E, F natural to G is a whole tone. So the semitone's in the wrong place. At the moment it's between E and F. So we need to turn the F into F sharp in order for it to sound the same as when we played the scale of C and have a semitone between the seventh and eighth note. Okay, right, let's start on F and play all white notes. Again, hopefully you'll notice there's something not quite right about that, and it occurs somewhere in the middle. And there it is. So we should have a semitone between the third and fourth note, but at the moment I'm playing A to B, and that's a whole tone. So in order to make it a semitone, I need to go from A to B flat. means when I start on F, the scale of F, or the key of F, requires a B flat. When I started on G, the scale of G, the key of G requires an F sharp. To make that transposition of C sound identical, and for the tones and semitones to maintain an identical structure. Let's start on D. Okay, so if I play all white notes from D, you'll hear that there sound to be two places that aren't correct. So at the moment I've got a semitone between the second and third note, whereas I want that semitone to be between the third and fourth. F sharp to G. At the moment I've got a semitone, I should have a semitone between C and D, but I've got it between B and C. So that's not between the 7th and 8th notes, it's between the 6th and 7th. So I need to raise C to C sharp to make that sound the same as the transposition of C. I'll play C major scale. Now I'll play D major scale. Okay, so D, in order to sound exactly the same as C, requires an F sharp and a C sharp. Now there's no mystery about how the sharps occur. So once you've got one F sharp, if you've got a scale with more sharps, they won't come in a higgledy-piggledy order. You'll always have F as your first sharp. You'll always have C as your second sharp. The new sharp is always the 7th note of the scale. So if I start on A, bearing in mind that I now know I need F sharp and C sharp, you'll hear that there's a whole tone between the 7th and 8th note. So I need to turn that into G sharp in order to make that sound like a transposition of C. So I've now got 3 sharps, F, C and G. There are all kinds of mnemonics out there to help you to remember the order of the sharps. Personally, I use a silly one, which is Father Christmas gets dressed after eating breakfast, but I know there are better ones about. But that is the order of the sharps. And what is interesting is that the order of the flats is the complete reverse of the order of the sharps. So you finish on B for the order of the sharps, that's the last sharp, and B flat is your first flat. And the flats, the first 4 flats spell bead, B-E-A-D. So that's always an easy way of remembering how the flats move, certainly for the first 4 flats. So I hope this little video has made the obvious reason why key signatures occur the way that they do more obvious to you, and hopefully that will help you starting from C and actually just listening, using your ear and working out what the key signature might be for any key starting on any given note using